Good for you. You're too beautiful. You'd better watch out. Because one day your beauty will get you in trouble like this woman. Malena is the legendary beauty of Sicily. Everyone envies with her black and shiny hair, perfect body curves, gorgeous and charming face. As long as she crosses the square, men with lustful eyes watches every of her moves. Renato is in his soccer team, and still a 12-year-old boy. The day when he is trying out his new bike, he sees the most beautiful woman he ever known walking by. Not only Renato, but his teammates are also attracted to her. The whole team follows her. It's like the woman takes their breaths away. That's the first time he sees Malena. Renato is positive that he had walked around every corner and hook of the town to follow Malena. Sometimes it's like he's stalking her. Or he could stand alone in front of her house. She suddenly opens the door. Renato will laugh to himself as he sees her waving at him. Can you buy me a pack of cigarettes? Every time Malena goes out on the street, aside from being subjected by lethargic gazes from men, she is also insulted by a bunch of jobless gossip women. Sometimes, Renato will just sit down on the bench and think about his muse. Renato usually peeks through the peephole, looking inside of Malena's house. He knows that Malena actually has a husband, but her husband has joined the army, leaving Malena home alone. Malena is longing for her husband every night. She could only embrace her husband's picture in her arm, listening to the old record she has listened over and over. Soon, the bad news comes that Malena's husband has died when he served for the army. Malena was heartbroken. Renato wanted to come up to her and hug her, but then he didn't have the courage or qualifications to do that. At the subsequent memorial service, Malena, the legendary beauty of Sicily in her black dress, finally let tears trim down her face. The inside, they is grateful for the disaster that happened to Malena. Renato came to the church to pray. He prays that the God above could protect Malena until he becomes an adult. Then he could legally be with her and take care of her. However, his prayers don't work. The day Renato sees Malena getting out of the shop, the owner looks at her with his greedy eyes. The rage in him rises. He throws a stone at the door, making it crash, then quickly flees the scene. He stalks to Malena's house. Renato suddenly comes up with a bold idea. He steals Malena's underwear. He doesn't know that he would be grounded later because of this reckless behavior. The headmaster receives a letter which is very nasty about an affair in the town. Renato is also there at that moment. He wants to make sure if the announcement is true. Renato comes in front of Malena's house. He finds out that she was having an affair with an officer in the town. The two seem to have eaten together and also make out a lot and sleep with each other. After the meeting with Malena, the officer gets a face-to-face conversation with his father. Under the pressure the wife gives him, the officer has to pretend that he has been uncomfortable with Malena for so long. So he finally gets public opinion to take Malena to the court, accusing her of seducing him. The whole town knows about it that day. They insult Malena, calling her a whore. The desperate Malena could only ask a lawyer for help in her exaggerated defense of the lawyer. He says he has successfully defended for 40,000 people. Malena wants to make a deal, but the lawyer opened his mouth to ask her for a higher fee. He sees that Malena is already speechless, so he takes advantage of that, suggesting her to pay the fee with one night sleeping with him. Malena doesn't consent, but the lawyer forces her. Renato ran to the church. He smashes the god statue and loudly accuses him of not protecting Malena. The resident despises Malena. Men begins to harass her without covering it up. Malena seems to take it as a memory. Political women refuse to sell her food. Malena could only exchange for food with letting the merchants grope her. On the inside, she feels like a disgrace. She didn't want to be the object of fantasy. Renato wants to help her. Even though the two have passed by countless times, Renato still has no courage. In the classes, he tries his best to suppress his feelings. During the war, Malena's father dies under gunfire. People participate in the funeral enthusiastically. Malena cutting her beautiful long hair. She accepts to be with an army officer who brought food to her. The next day, the whole town was blown up. In the square, the most beautiful woman of Sicily walks in a low-cut black dress and red hair. She begins to be surrounded by all kinds of men. After all, Renato has reached this age. Spotting the young customer, the prostitutes crowd around and lower their hands on his body. In a daze, every woman Renato sees seems look like Malena. He sees a woman standing quietly at the door, looking very similar to Malena. The woman brought Renato into the room. Then Renato imagined her as Marina. And he finally changed from a boy to a man. The German army failed in World War II. Sicily was liberated, and the soldiers were warmly welcomed. However, the joyous atmosphere didn't belong to everyone. Malena has been caught on the spot. The women finally had a reason to go wild. They dragged her out of the room. Her clothes were shed. Her hair was tugged. The man who once gave her everything just watched all this in silence. The day after, Malena caught a train to leave this place. The only one who sees her off was Renato. He watched the numerous parliaments pass by. He came to the shore and threw the record away. Soon, the peace of the town was broken again. Nino, Malena's husband, came back. It turns out that he didn't die in a battle. He just lost his right arm. He fought a bloody war for how the motherland should be treating a hero. He returns home without his wife waiting for him, but a bunch of displayed people. Renato plucked up the courage and threw a letter to him. The letter said that she still loved him these past 2 years, but she had suffered misfortunes and gone to the city of Messina. A year later, Malena and her husband returned to the town. Her husband looked straight ahead, while Malena drooped her eyes, avoiding everybody's eyes. She is old now, with composition on her face, and her figure is no longer graceful, but now she finally has reliance. She came to the vegetable market, greeting nonchalantly to the woman who had slaughtered her in the past. Renato was taken aback when he saw Malena on the road. Her bag fell, and fruit rolled all over the ground. Renato accumulated to his side and helped her pick up the fruit. Now he didn't hesitate at all. At the time of parting, watching her walking away from him, Renato officially said the first words to her. Then he got in the car and left in the opposite direction.